Ding dong, Fauci is gone. The director of the NIH and one of the leading experts on coronavirus, Dr. Anthony Fauci, has announced that he will be stepping down from his current position. All of that and more here on The Report with Ruben Jay. Now, I'm Ruben Jay, and welcome to The Report. I am testing out a new podcast format because why not? Why not continue to test things out and see what works and what doesn't work? This is, of course, going to be audio, video, so make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're listening to this, and make sure to subscribe to the audio channel if you are listening to this. Again, so Dr. Anthony Fauci announced on Monday that he'll be stepping down as the president's top medical advisor and director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease in December. So Anthony Fauci, a man who's been wrong about everything in his entire career. Remember, this is the same man who, in the height of the HIV/AIDS crisis back in, what is it, the 80s, said that everybody's going to get it. Straight people, gay people, doesn't matter who you are. If you have sex, you're going to get it. And while he's kind of true in the respect that if you have a bunch of unprotected sex, you're going to end up ultimately getting HIV potentially, the truth of the matter is that in that particular crisis, it was mainly affecting gay men. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong outside of the ideas that some people might have, but there's nothing wrong with two men who love each other having sexual intercourse and doing their thing. The problem comes when you're having sex with a bunch of random people. That's when the problem comes. That's when you increase your chance of getting a disease. And Dr. Fauci was wrong about that back in the 80s. Now let's go to COVID in 2020, where Dr. Anthony Fauci took every side of every position possible and clearly made it known that he has no idea what he was talking about at the time. And, you know, in the early days, it was easy to say, oh, yeah, we don't really know much about it. So we kind of understand when new information starts to come out. The problem became when the science came out against what Anthony Fauci believed and against what Dr. Fauci thought was the right method to take. And instead of saying, you know what, we got new information, we're gonna move away from what we've been saying this entire time to, you know what, we're not wrong. We just didn't give the message correctly, or whatever the situation is. We can talk about masks. We can talk about the fact that the mask mandates became a thing after Anthony Fauci said, you don't need any masks. The only people who are going to need masks are medical professionals. That's a terrible Anthony Fauci impersonation, by the way. But and I'll never claim to be an impressionist on this show. I'll never claim to be able to do impressions very well, is what I'm trying to say. But what I will say is that Dr. Anthony Fauci has been wrong about every side of the equation. So in the statement, Fauci said, I'll be leaving these positions in December of this year, so 2022, to pursue the next chapter of my career. It's been the honor of a lifetime to have led the NIAID, an extraordinary institution for many years and through so many scientific and public health challenges. I'm very proud of our many accomplishments I have worked with and learned from countless talented and dedicated people in my own laboratory at the NIAID, at NIH, and beyond. And to them, I express my abiding respect and gratitude, he said in a statement. Fauci has been doing this for well over 40 years, 50 years. Fauci's not only been doing this forever, but he's also one of the nation's top paid employees. Actually, he is the top paid employee. He makes more money than the president of the United States. I'm curious, Dr. Fauci salary. Let's see what he makes, because I believe he's making $434,000. That's what the president's salary is. I believe it's $420,000 per year. Hold on, for some reason it just didn't pop up the way I thought it would. Hold on one second. President Biden's salary. For some reason, I think it's $400,000 a year. What does the president get paid per year? $400,000. So Anthony Fauci is making $30,000 more than the president of the United States. Let that sink in for a minute. Now, Joe Biden is a professional, useless person. He's also been wrong about which possible thing he can possibly be wrong about. He has also been wrong about in his entire career. But the fact that the man who is supposed to be in charge of this country, the president of the United States, is making less money than a man who was appointed in his position, has held it over the course, I believe, of since the first Bush, at the very least, has been across 5 presidents, Dr. Fauci, $30,000 pay difference in Fauci's favor. It's insane. The fact that we have government employees making that much money is insane. And yeah, he was in charge of a couple of different institutions, and he was, the top doctor in the United States and an advisor to the president. And yeah, he did a lot of things. But did he do any of them well? The only thing that Dr. Fauci has done well in recent memory is lie to the American people. And when I say that, I mean he's done that poorly as well, but at least he's been consistent at it. He's been a poor liar over the course of his entire career. After this announcement, he has gone on to say things like he was not wrong about anything on COVID. He has not flip-flopped on anything on COVID. When in the reality is he's flip-flopped on everything, on whether people should be locked down or not, whether people should wear masks or not, whether people should be vaccinated or not, or how many times they should be vaccinated. He's been on every side of every possible point that you can take. You would think the man was running for political office, but with the amount of lies and flip-flops that he makes. Fauci's been in office since Ronald Reagan was president. Again, Ronald Reagan. Daily Wire says he's been in office not in office, but holding his position for 38 years. He's been in the government for more than 50 years. Fauci says, I am particularly proud to have served as the chief medical advisor to President Joe Biden since the very first day of his administration. Fauci also emphasized that he's not retiring, but he's just going on to his next chapter, which is probably, realistically speaking, Fauci probably has a book deal lined up that he just cannot accept while he's in office. That's what happens with these people. These people become famous as bureaucrats and then go on to become filthy rich from book deals and their celebrity classness that they create out of nothing. They aren't people. This Dr. Fauci is not somebody who went out and created a vaccine to anything. In fact, one of his long-running projects is to try to find a vaccine for HIV/AIDS. He hasn't been able to do that. And that's been at least 30 or 40 years since that outbreak started. The only reason why we have a COVID vaccine in the amount of time that we had was because President Trump and Operation Warp Speed. And let's not pretend that the vaccine is some sort of miracle. It's a terrible vaccine. It's a vaccine that wanes over time and very quickly. It'd be one thing if you got, your double dose in year 1 and then 5 or 6 years later you had to get it re-upped. That is something that children in particular, have to go get multiple rounds of vaccines because sometimes the vaccines wane after the course of a couple of years, a handful of years. I had to go about 5 or 6 years ago, had to go get a tuberculosis shot, TB shot. And I'd had one 15 years prior, but it was years upon years later that I had to go back and get that re-upped. And I was probably overdue for it too, to be honest. But the point being, like, as much as I think Donald Trump is a great president, was a great president, and I think he's a much better option than what we have right now. The ultimate truth when it comes to Operation Warp Speed is that we don't have a good coronavirus COVID-19 vaccine. We have a terrible COVID-19 vaccine, a vaccine that has really adverse side effects and should not be taken by young people, in my personal opinion. And by the way, that's not medical advice. I think young people should go and get the virus. If you have to choose between the vaccine and the virus, I think you're gonna have a better shot with the virus, unless your immune system is compromised. Dr. Fauci can't even say that he created a good COVID vaccine, because that was created by private business. That was big pharma, and I don't like big pharma. I think big pharma does not create cures to anything. They actually, I believe that big pharma wants to keep you sick, and that they will give you just enough medication to make you feel better and make you stop complaining, but not actually heal anything. And it's not a conspiracy. I mean, it is a conspiracy, but it's not me saying, oh, big pharma's out to get you. They just want to make some money. They want to make some money, and the best patient is a sick patient, because if you are not sick, they can't make money off of you. So anyways, the reason why we had a vaccine in less than a year for COVID is because of Operation Warp Speed, not because of Anthony Fauci. The reason why we have COVID is because of Anthony Fauci, according to reports. So Dr. Fauci, pretending that he's some sort of important medical figure, is laughable at best. In fact, if I were Fauci, I just would have quietly gone away. I would have not wanted any fanfare. I would not have made a big announcement. President Biden's probably going to give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom for like the 15th time. It's not. Fauci has nothing to be proud of. I mean, the only thing that Fauci has to be proud of is his longevity in a job that, quite frankly, he was terrible at. Had Dr. Fauci been in the private sector, and had Dr. Fauci taken every possible position on every possible every possible point, let me put it this way: if Dr. Fauci was the advisor to Tim Cook over at Apple, and he took every position on privacy possible, Tim Cook would have fired him. There's no way that Dr. Fauci would survive in the private sector. Now, Fauci goes on to say, after more than 50 years of government service, I plan to pursue the next phase of my career while I still have so much energy and passion for my field. I want to use what I have learned at the NIAID to continue to advance science and public health. Dude, you didn't advance science. At least not here in the United States. Maybe in China you did. Maybe in China at the Wuhan Institute of viral infections, the lab where COVID allegedly leaked out of. Dr. Fauci did not advance science and public health. Anyway, he goes on, and to inspire and mentor the next generation of scientific leaders as they help prepare the world to face future infectious disease threats. You know what? If I were a student and I see Dr. Anthony Fauci walk into my classroom, or if I was a lab assistant learning how to begin to potentially prevent the next global pandemic, and I saw Dr. Anthony Fauci walk in, I would leave immediately. Dr. Anthony Fauci is not somebody who should be leading the next generation of people. Dr. Anthony Fauci should be fired. The guy's going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year off of his pension with the federal government, and he's going to make millions of dollars on book deals, and probably make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars doing documentaries and speeches and all this other stuff. I really don't think that Dr. Anthony Fauci should be anywhere near the next generation of scientists. We already have a problem with the next generation of leaders in general not knowing what a woman is. We don't really need somebody who's also going to take every stance of everything, teaching the next generation how to look for infectious diseases and possibly warn people of the next pandemic. We don't need somebody like Dr. Anthony Fauci influencing anybody who might possibly be a future advisor to a future president. In fact, Dr. Anthony Fauci should stay far away from classrooms, from young people, and from the future. I do not think that Dr. Anthony Fauci, should be proud of what he's done in office, particularly in the last 3 years, particularly when it comes to, even now with monkeypox, he's refused to take a side on anything. The truth is Anthony Fauci was terrible at his job. And now he's going to use the clout that was given to him by the left and the mainstream media to make millions of dollars and continue to grift off of the taxpayers who think he's done something good, when the reality of it is that this nation would have been better off without him. And I blame Donald Trump for Dr. Anthony Fauci's recent resurgence to national fame. President Trump did not have to name Dr. Anthony Fauci as his lead medical advisor. Donald Trump is responsible, as much as I love Donald Trump, and I think Donald Trump is a great president. I think, should he be reelected, I believe this country will be in a much better position than if Joe Biden gets elected as president once again. But I think at the end of the day, Donald Trump will have to remember his accomplishments in office as being, somebody who created a ton of jobs for this country, brought peace to the Middle East, brought stability to the stock market, and also helped Dr. Anthony Fauci become a household name in 2020. Had Trump not done that, we wouldn't be talking about Anthony Fauci today. And in fact, had Trump not had Dr. Anthony Fauci talking in his ear for the first year of the pandemic, we might actually know for a fact where this virus came from. It wouldn't be an issue. Anthony Fauci continues his statement saying, over the coming months, I will continue to put full effort, passion, and commitment into my current responsibilities, as well as help prepare the Institute for a leadership transition. NIH is served by some of the most talented scientists in the world, and I have no doubt that I am leaving this work in very capable hands. President Joe Biden praised Fauci in a statement shortly after the NIAID director's announcement, calling Fauci a dedicated public servant and a steady hand with wisdom and insight honed over decades at the forefront of some of our most dangerous and challenging public crises. When it came time to build our COVID-19 team to lead our COVID-19 response, in fact, in one of the first calls as president-elect, I immediately asked Dr. Fauci to extend his service as chief medical advisor to deal with the COVID-19 crisis that faced our nation. In that role, I've been able to call him at any hour of the day for his advice as we tackled this once-in-a-generation pandemic. His commitment to work is unwavering, and he does it with an unparalleled spirit, energy, and scientific integrity. There's no integrity from Dr. Anthony Fauci. Come on, let's be real here. Dr. Anthony Fauci does not operate with integrity. He will lie to anybody who asks him a question. A lot of people believe that Dr. Anthony Fauci is resigning because he believes many conservative and Republicans will be taking office come November with what's being called a potential red wave. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky weighed in on Monday on the news that Dr. Anthony Fauci will step down from his government roles in December, promising that Fauci will still testify before Congress. Paul said in a statement, Fauci's resignation will not prevent a full-throated investigation into the origins of the pandemic. He will be asked to testify under oath regarding any discussions he participated in concerning a lab leak. So Fauci, if you thought that resigning from your position was going to be the answer for you not having to face Congress, well, buckle up, buddy, because they're coming after you. They're coming after you, and we're here for it. We're going to be here to cover it all because Dr. Fauci has asked for this. He deserves it, and he's going to get it. With that being said, oh man, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to doing the show, this podcast, the report with Ruben Jay, and we'll cover all of the headlines in the political world and the entertainment world and the tech world, whatever comes our way every Tuesdays and Thursday. And with that, I'm going to bid you a farewell. Make sure to follow me on all social media. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Facebook. It's Truth Social at the Ruben J. Follow me for more. Be up to date. Head over to dollarinthejar.com for $3 a month. You can get all my podcasts ad free. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand this over. And you guys have a good day.